You may begin whenever everybody's ready. Are we good? You ready? All right, we're good. Okay. You're great. Are we live? We're good? Oh, we're good when you are. Okay, awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call the April 27th, 5 p.m. policy meeting to order. And since we have no public comment, I'll turn it over to Ms. Graham to get us started on our policies.
Thank you. We will start tonight with policy GBI, staff participation in political activities. This policy had not been updated since 2000. And so the updates to it are really just to bring it in alignment with some of the language of other policies. In general, there is nothing specifically new in here, just a reminder that employees cannot use district time, equipment, supplies, etc. in any political campaigns and should not be campaigning on district property.
Second to look at it. If anybody has questions, feel free to share. Is this in line with model or are these district recommendations?
Anything that is not highlighted is in line with the model. So this one is strictly model.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't see a difference. Does anybody have any questions of this?
No, ma'am.
I'll let Ms. Powell get through it. Good.
The only thing
No, I'm just looking at you.
I have a question. It says like use of school system facilities. That includes email, correct? Is that what they mean by
Correct.
that?
Mhm.
Email, and then it says equipment or supplies. So if I got a teacher doing, publisher or anything like that, they can't.
Correct. Any district
I just want to make sure. Okay.
program should not
All
be used for political activities. Correct.
So email's a big one.
Yes. Yep.
Pretty machine.
Yes, or the printer, any of those things.
So this is for if they're running for office.
Well, it's for political activities at all.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, go ahead.
That forward. Next is policy GBK, staff concerns, complaints, and grievances. This policy has not been updated since 2002, so we are bringing it up to date as well. And you'll see this more primarily in the rule when we get to that. But the procedure that we had in place for investigating grievances was a little complicated and did not really serve anyone as well as it could. And so we are modifying that procedure, but that's more reflected in the rule here in the policy. The updates are just to align with the model, excluding a recommendation. If you'll see the highlighted sentence, just says that there's an option to appeal an extension of time. But our recommendation is to remove that because if the investigators believe that an extension of time is necessary, we don't believe that there should be an appeal process for that. We want to make sure that it's investigated as thoroughly as it needs to be. And then the highlights on the second page are just to bring clarity to the person that is referring to. So when it says employee or aggrieved or each party, just trying to be more clear than what I think the model was.
Is this part of aligning our process across all the policies?
Yes, so there are several student policies as well that we're looking at updating, but this is the only one related to staff. And so it was a little bit different, so we went ahead and moved that forward.
I don't have any questions on this one. Anybody else? Good, Ashley? Good. Evan?
All good.
Next is the administrative rules, so GBK FAR, staff concerns, complaints, and grievances. And here you will see a good number of updates, again, primarily related to that process. We just want to make sure that it is a little more clear than it previously was. And so you all can read through that process there. But it essentially allows a staff member who has a grievance to file that grievance with their direct supervisor, and then an appeal process from there if they're unhappy with the results of the investigation that results from that.
Highlighted was the district recommendation. That's not in the model. The specific of, is that because it wasn't necessarily clear that those things were.
Are you referring to the definition
Yes.
section? Yes, so that was a recommendation. It is included in the board policy section. And it was recommended that we include that in the rule just to make it clear that if you've only read one of them, typically the rule should be read with the policy, but in case you were only looking at the rule because it's more specific, that it was clear. So it's just a reflection of information that was already in the policy.
What is the appeal process? Is this in line with like other timeframes for appealing to the board? Is that all like for other things that we do?
You mean the requirement to
days.
submit within 5 days? Yes, that's the same for student discipline appeals and other things.
And then all this cross off, you just essentially worded it differently.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different process just in terms of the levels being made more clear. It's the same levels in that you appeal initially to your supervisor and then to the superintendent or his or her designee and then to the board. But the process itself is just made a little more clear.
Anybody have any questions? More easy, okay.
Well prepared.
Thank you. Next is GC, professional staff. This is, again, an older policy. This is just defining. If you look at our policies, there's sort of a string of policies labeled GC and then typically another letter. Those apply to professional staff. And so this is defining who constitutes professional staff. There is a good bit highlighted here because the model policy includes very specific definitions that didn't necessarily align with the way our district is structured. And so you'll see there that there's a recommendation to remove a good bit of that and just leave the 3 major bullet points of instructional staff, non-instructional staff, and then administrative staff. And I will say, I looked at several other districts and this policy varies pretty significantly across the state depending on district structure. So this, again, was the model, but really didn't reflect our specific structures.
Things so really complicated. Good with that. If anybody else has any questions? No? Yeah, we are good.
Excellent. Next is GCA. So this is again one from that string of policies applicable to professional staff. This is professional staff positions. And again, just an older policy being updated in line with the model.
was initially, because everything underlined is from the model policy.
Correct.
I could pull up,
So-
I can't pull up there.
It's okay. What is struck below is what was initially there. And initially said the board, on the recommendation of the superintendent, will classify and authorize positions for professional personnel. So that was the following sentence.
Anyone have any questions? Good, Ashley?
Yes, I'm good.
All right.
Okay, next is policy GCQE, retirement of professional staff. So again, another one in line with that string of policies related to professional staff. This one did have some significant updates just because of some changes in the state retirement structure. It references Terry throughout, and we no longer have the Terry system. So there are some updates here, but generally it is just information relevant to how professional staff announce their retirement to the district.
Looks good to me. If anyone has any concerns or questions? No?
Next is the accompanying rule, which is recommended for deletion. As you can see, the entire rule applies to the Terry program, which does not exist anymore. So
Done.
I recommend deleting this. It's fine. Does anybody opposed to this? Right.
okay, next is GDA, support staff positions. And this is similar to GCA, but defining what constitutes support staff and how they are, how those positions are established. Essentially, it stays the same except clarifying that support staff are at-will employees and just updating some of the language in there.
You don't like specify the exact titles of what support staff are for any reason? Is there like a reason we wouldn't get into more detail just because it changes or?
And what do you mean, as far as the
Like the-
board's authority in
Or
that,
no, like
or-
what, defining what they are.
Oh,
State-
I believe there is a policy GD
Okay.
that does.
Like defines what they are, okay.
Defines what they are, yes. I believe this is the second in that string of policies. And it is possible
Up to
that I think the board already moved forward GD.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's current.
Yes, let me just double check. Yep, that is actually up for second reading tonight.
Okay,
before
yeah,
the
I was
board.
like, it sounds
Policy
familiar, but
GD.
then.
Yes. Sorry, I checked my paper agenda.
You're fine.
My favorite time.
I was trying to remember why that sounded familiar and then.
Yes, so there's GD, which defines what is support staff, and then GDA, which defines how those positions
Yeah.
are developed.
It's like this homeschooling. Okay, sorry, I already moved on to the next one. No, that one's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Very good. Okay, so next is the homeschool rule, which, if you all will recall, was up before the board, but the administration asked that the board send it back to
Okay,
the
sorry.
policy
I was
committee.
like, why am I
Yes.
seeing this again? I'm having
Yes, you are
visuals.
seeing this again. And the reason the one additional change that was being made was just clarification to the testing section, which is on the next to last page of the policy.
Okay.
Previously, it said that the district may not offer the test, but after some discussions within the district, it was determined that we are not offering that testing. It's it's about halfway down the next to last page under the subheading testing.
Is that the statewide test?
Yes, so this is referring to state testing and also college prep testing, like AP courses and things like that. And so Because, and feel free to jump in, Ms. Parker, but because these tests are often given during the school day with our current students, there are some concerns about bringing in other students who aren't our students. There are sometimes costs associated with that, or costs the district would have to absorb providing extra monitors and things of that nature. And there are other places where these students can take the test. And so it would be our recommendation that they go through their homeschool association to find a location where they can take that test if they're homeschooled.
Someone was asking me about this recently, and they're homeschooling their own children apparently. And I said, well, I believe they have to take the state test as
They do.
well, but they don't.
Only if they're homeschooling through option 1, but options 2 and 3, where you use a homeschool association, you do not have to take state testing through the district.
You
That
don't
is
have
a
to
rule
take
of
it
some associations if you
Yeah.
choose to participate.
Most associations you do not.
So
Correct.
then the college, if they decide to go to college, then the college will determine whether or not they're going to.
Correct.
They don't
College-
even, they don't even look at, most colleges aren't even looking at like the ACT and SAT anymore.
No, I mean.
But then
they're
like state testing, like I do math testing at home in Dillon, but it's not required to do any sort of SE ready or anything.
not.
But it's hard when you transfer back into public school. I think it's difficult, like for teachers to place students with no records, and a parent will just say like, my kid's in 4th grade, you put them in 4th grade and they might not be.
Well, I think they were determining the testing and all of that. and
But,
I'm like,
Yeah, and I think
wouldn't
there's
wanna
actually a
do
place to
that.
do
is
it.
there not any legal requirement for us to offer any sort of, okay. I
No,
was
it's
just curious.
specifically not required by the
Okay.
statute, so.
I just didn't
Yes.
know.
Sorry?
Good policy.
Good policy, excellent. I apologize, it took us a couple rounds to get there, but with all of those, is it good to move forward?
Yes, yes.
Excellent, that is all we have. We
Yay,
were
see.
very speedy.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, everything's great, wonderful. All right, well, seeing that we have no public comment, I will adjourn. Thank you.